Ladies and gentlemen, this weekend is WWE's first pay-per-view after WrestleMania, and that is Backlash. And the build to the show was pretty rushed because Backlash was 3 weeks after WrestleMania. I'm not going to be talking about how rushed the show was. I'm going to be talking about the matches that are happening on the show. The first match I want to talk about is a fatal 4-way match for the United States Championship. As the current champion, Jacob Fatu defends the title against LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. Now this is going to be a tough one for Jacob Fatu because he doesn't even need to be pinned in order to lose the United States Championship. So how did we get here? Well, LA Knight wanted a rematch against Jacob Fatu from losing the United States title to him at WrestleMania. But then Drew McIntyre comes out and says that I was going to get a WWE Championship match, but Randy Orton got there first. So might as well go after the United States Champion. And then Drew talks about how he defeated Damian Priest at WrestleMania and he was going to move on. But Priest ends up attacking Drew McIntyre while Drew McIntyre had a match with LA Knight to become the number one contender for the United States Champion. And it led to Jacob Fatu taking everybody out. So then the next week on SmackDown, Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu are with Nick Aldis. Solo tells Nick, hey, Drew McIntyre technically won last week, and he should be getting the United States Championship match. The match was originally going to be a triple threat between LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Jacob Fatu. But since Solo ended up mentioning Drew McIntyre, he ends up making it a fatal 4-way match. So who wins this match? I'm going with Jacob Fatu, because Jacob Fatu makes the United States Championship relevant again. For the past number of months, the United States Champion didn't even mean anything. But now that Jacob Fatu is holding the title, he is making that more relevant than ever. So then after this match, what happens to all 4 of these guys? I don't know, but we're going to find out on the SmackDown after Backlash. The next match I want to talk about is a match that I wasn't even thinking about. It's Pat McAfee versus Gunther. Now, it's been a while since Pat McAfee was last in a WWE match, dating back to WrestleMania 39. You know, that impromptu segment that led into a match between Miz and Pat McAfee? So how do we get to this match? Well, on the Raw after WrestleMania, Gunther was confronting Pat McAfee and Michael Cole for talking about him. You know, how Gunther tapped out against Jey Uso at WrestleMania, losing the World Heavyweight Championship? And that's what upset Gunther, and he attacked Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. Michael Cole survived, but Pat McAfee didn't, as he suffered through a sleeper by Gunther. Gunther was suspended, but Pat McAfee wanted the suspension to be lifted because he wants to fight Gunther. So then the suspension was lifted, and we have the face-off that happened last Monday on Raw. But as they went face-to-face, Adam Pearce said, I don't want any more physicality. Pat tells Gunther that he's an a-hole, he tapped out to Jey Uso at WrestleMania, and other insulting things that he told Gunther. Now, I believe they are doing this match to write Pat McAfee off of TV, to go do business in college football. Correct me if I am wrong in the comments. So who wins this match? It's gonna be Gunther. I don't see Pat McAfee overcoming Gunther. Sure, he might get some offense on Gunther, but it's not gonna be good enough. The next match I want to talk about is Dominic Mysterio versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, for a couple of months, Penta has been having issues with the Judgment Day, and he is also eyeing the Intercontinental Championship. At WrestleMania, Dominic Mysterio did the unthinkable and walked out with the Intercontinental Championship. On the Raw after WrestleMania, Dominic Mysterio defended the Intercontinental title against Penta, which led to JD McDonough's return on that night. Penta did everything that he could to get another championship match against Dominic Mysterio. So I kind of want to bring this up here. Liv Morgan actually is taking time off because she is going to be filming a movie. Now, why do I bring this up? Because there was a backstage segment between Adam Pearce and the Judgment Day, and Dominic Mysterio says, hey, if Liv's going to take some time off, I want to take some time off too. Adam Pearce says, why? Because I'm the champion, because I can do whatever I want. If you're a champion, you should not be taking time off, unless you're some sort of part-timer. Liv's not a part-timer. Well, I guess she is now. So enough of that, let's get back to this match. Who wins this match? Well, I'm unfortunately going to have to go with Dominic Mysterio. Because like other champions that were won at WrestleMania, They've only held the titles for 3 weeks. And I feel like Dominic Mysterio is going to hold that title until SummerSlam. To lose it to who? I don't know. Maybe someone that's in his group. And what about Penta? What does he do? I believe that he might actually move on to promote the New Worlds Collide show. You know, the collaboration between WWE and AAA. The next match I want to talk about is for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, as the current champion Lyra Valkyria goes one-on-one with Becky Lynch. Now on the Raw after WrestleMania, Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria were defending the women's tag team titles against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez in a WrestleMania rematch. Which, by the way, the women's tag team titles still don't mean anything, so why even bother? After Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch lost the tag team titles, Becky Lynch ended up attacking Lyra after the match. Then the next week comes around and Becky Lynch explains her actions on why she attacked Lyra. She reminded us about Bayley being attacked at WrestleMania. Who was the one who attacked her? Becky Lynch. So Lyra Valkyria comes out and tells Becky that Bayley was her best friend. And by the way, guys, do you also notice how Lyra Valkyria is getting better on the microphone? She is channeling her inner NXT version of Lyra Valkyria. So then she tells Becky, hey, if you want the match, let's get the match. But I know you're not going to accept it unless my title is on the line. Did Lyra Valkyria do the shoot when she was talking to Becky Lynch? Because that sounded like a shoot to me. So who wins this match? I'm actually going to have to go with Becky Lynch. No, I'm not saying that Becky Lynch is going to bury Lyra Valkyria. Lyra Valkyria is going to be okay, guys. Don't worry about it. I'm saying Becky Lynch because Lyra Valkyria could prove herself that she could be a big babyface in the women's division. This could also lead to Bayley's return to fight Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Either or, it's going to be quite exciting to see what Becky Lynch can do when she's the Intercontinental Champion. Now the last match on the show is for the WWE Championship, as the current champion John Cena goes one-on-one with Randy Orton. Now this match classifies as one final time, as John Cena and Randy Orton are running it back for one final time. And by the way, you've seen it already, Backlash is taking place in St. Louis, which is Randy Orton's hometown. This is a must-win for Randy Orton, but unfortunately, my prediction is that I'm going with John Cena. John Cena is going to hold the WWE Championship all throughout 2025 until he retires. Not saying that he's retiring the championship with him. John Cena might lose the WWE Championship around SummerSlam or so. And then Randy Orton, he plans on winning a 14th World Champion. Does he do it this Saturday in front of his hometown? Not on John Cena's watch. How will this match come to an end? Will there be outside interference? Or will it actually be a fair match? I don't know, but whatever happens, happens. So I want to know from you guys. Are you ready for Backlash? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, tap the notification bell for more videos, follow me on Twitter @Ethan'sToyShow, and I'll see you on the next one.